Here we have Andrew Hiebl, the Association of Australian Convention Bureaus CEO. Andrew, tell us about what's happening in your world.
Well, we've started 2020 with a bit of a slow, unfortunate year, a few crises that have occurred, namely the bushfires. I think the international coverage that we got around the bushfires, particularly in that Christmas New Year period, put a really bad message out there around Australia, and I guess the immediate focus there was to try and work out how do we recover and restore the truth to that message.
So as an association, how do you combat that? How do you work with that?
Well, it's a bit about working with our members and the industry and bringing their thoughts and messages both to, in collaboration with Tourism Australia and government.
And last year we spoke about the funding.
Yep.
How's that gone?
As far as I know, the latest figures are that the bid fund has attracted approximately 30 international events, mostly in the association space, but a few of the international corporate incentives as well. And look, from our perspective, we think that there's more that could be done. So we think, particularly on the back of recovery, that we could do more in this space and attract more business to help the economic circumstances here.
How would you plan on doing that?
Well, being a sweet talker and nice to the political fraternity.
Of course.
But look, industry collectively is continually meeting on a regular basis with the Minister for Tourism, and AACB is part of that.
Are they listening to you?
I think they are, but I think in light of the current coronavirus circumstances, there is that fine balance between making sure that we're safe in Australia so that when it's time to open the doors again, our industry is ready to go and we're in a safe and healthy position. Because
it is a bit of a balance. All of a sudden the media puts out that, bushfires, drought, don't come, and then all of a sudden they're saying don't turn up, and then it's like, shit, we need people. Turn up, and it's like it's a balance.
And every day that ticks by, there's cash flow issues for small business who are having to consider, do we keep staff if they're permanent or casual? Are we going to have to let them go? And then being able to maintain that staff load when things are good again may be tricky to keep and retain.
And there's a lot of money being allocated. Was $79 million?
$76 million out of the $2 billion bushfire recovery fund.
Yeah.
From our understanding, that's an initial recovery amount of money, and a lot of that's been used to support our international marketing efforts, but also for the first time in a long time, for Tourism Australia to focus on domestic campaign. Here we are, the Event Here This Year campaign has been launched from a business events perspective. And look, the real motivation behind that is for those corporates or organisations that do hold events and consider to have them held elsewhere to, at least in 2020, consider holding them onshore.
And have you seen some results?
Oh, look, a lot of this is done on a state-by-state basis, and we've seen some amazing results, particularly out of regional Victoria. We know that the state government here in Victoria have really pounced on pledging for corporates to pledge their corporate events taking place within the bushfire-affected areas. And New South Wales is also doing a very similar thing, and apparently the support is fantastic.
And any new convention bureaus coming on board?
Convention bureaus? I think more broadly, regional Australia is having a real interest in business events. Destinations that probably didn't really think about it too much previously, that may have just thought of tourism in the context of leisure tourism. And I think there are some councils that are really starting to understand the strategic opportunities around hosting business events that line up with their economic development priorities. And so for them, it's not necessarily about high volume, but it's about that strategic alignment.
And are they promoting that? Are you helping promote that?
Well, I think in the early stages, it's about AACB being there to provide mentoring support and advising about how different destinations work, whether that's through council, whether it's through independent convention bureau authorities, and just pointing out the strengths and weaknesses of different models so that they can customise to their needs.
Cool. And where do you see business events in the next 5 years?
Look, I'm being very biased, but I think business events will lead the recovery for Australia. And I think a big part of that is because the business events industry is a forward-facing industry. The strategic long-term nature of the bidding process means that we can see what's coming down the pipeline and we can plan for it. So that's from an infrastructure perspective, it's from a staffing perspective and skills. And I think having that forward understanding and something that AACB can produce for the industry to share is really important. And so 5 years down the track, I think out of this recovery process, we'll see, governments and the industry more broadly having a truer understanding of the value of business events.
Correct. Andrew Hiebl, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.